any that pisseth against the wall. He said they'd have been all dead people by daylight. But you, Abigail, came with the message from the Lord for me, and now I can just trust him like I should have at the beginning. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to thine house. See, I have hearkened to thy voice, and have accepted thy person. So David accepted her, what she did. What do you think Abigail means? I mean, Nabal is fool. Abigail means, anybody? Okay, well, she's the maker of joy. And we'll see that as she becomes David's wife also. Abigail came to Nabal. So now she goes home after meeting and help pacifying David and his people. And she goes back home. Abigail came to Nabal. And behold, he held a feast in his house like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing less or more until the morning light. Listen, you don't want to talk to a drunk husband or a drunk man and try to reason out things with him. He's either going to get angry and upset, or he's just going to ignore it, or he's going to get it all twisted around in his brain if he even remembers what you told him. And so just stay away. She's very wise there. So she didn't tell him till the next morning. Verse 37, it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, I'm sure he had a hangover and was really in bad shape then, but at least he's had a straight mind. The wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. So when he heard that he just about got wiped out in what she had done, he didn't know what to say. Here's a man that's so self-centered, and all of a sudden she straightens him out with what reality is, and it just took his heart. What was his heart? It was all about himself. His heart was all wrapped up in who he was and what he could do. His heart was all his, not anybody else's. You know, joy, thinking of even the Abigail's maker of joy, thinking of that, joy we use as an acronym, Jesus, others, you. Okay, you should be the last person involved. Okay, first you should be thinking about Jesus. And then you should be thinking about others. Then you can take time and think about yourself, okay? So by the time you get done with Jesus and others, why, you shouldn't be thinking much about yourself anyway, okay? But joy, Jesus, others, you. So here she is now, and she talks to him, and now he has lost his heart, okay, so to speak. His heart died within him. Now, this wasn't a heart attack, by the way, because his heart's still beating, so it's not talking about his physical heart here, that it died within him. We'll see that in just a couple verses here. But his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. He had no heart left. His life was just gone. And so he lived another 10 days. Verse 38, it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, that he died. So you can see that's not the physical heart that caused him to be the way he was. It was just like a fool is going to die a fool's death, and that's where he was, waiting for it. Now verse 39, when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be the Lord that hath pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and hath kept his servant from evil. For the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. But here we see that again, David is so thankful that he was spared from doing something in the flesh when he needed to let the Lord take care of it. And now he's blessing the Lord because the Lord has avenged him of his enemy, Nabal, and has kept him from sin and doing it himself. So we see that he has kept his servant from evil, David said, and the Lord hath returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. Didn't we just see that here a week or two ago when we looked at what happened to the wicked rulers? He turns it on their own head. He returns it to them. They're short. People living in wickedness, we think, boy, they're really doing something. They're really building a kingdom. It's going to be all over. They're going to be cut off. Don't envy the wicked. God's plain about that. Psalm 37 and other places. But so here, David sent then after Nabal was dead, David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife. Well, you might say, oh, but Saul already gave him a wife, so he's got another wife, right? Well, Saul had taken care of that too, so he no longer had the other wife. When the servants of David were come to Abigail to Carmel, they spake unto her, saying, David sent us unto thee to take thee to him to wife. And she arose and bowed herself on her face to the earth, and said, Behold, let thine handmaid be a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord. Just a humble spirit. All she wanted to do was just help him out any way that she could. And Abigail hasted and arose and rode upon an ass with 5 damsels of hers that went after her, and she went after the messengers of David and became his wife. And David also took Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives. So he takes 2 wives, and we'll see here in verse 44, but Saul had given Michal his daughter, David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Laish, which was of Galim. So now he had 2 new wives. His old one was gone because the king took her and gave her to somebody else. So we have here through these things, all these different places. We looked at the Carmel in Judah. Maon is in a lot of the tribe of Judah also. A lot of this was in Judah or to the south of Judah. Jezreel is a city south of Judah. Galium is probably at the end there, the last verse here, Galim, is probably from Benjamin. Okay, so just to get you an idea where we're at in Israel and where all these things are happening. So the wilderness that he went down to there, it's way down in the south towards, well, below the Dead Sea in that area, or to the, oh man, if I had a map I get turned around. I'm not the navigator I used to be, but anyway, get some help from Vinny here. He's still on top of navigating, I think. So anyway, that's down in the south of Israel. Any other thoughts or questions on 1 Samuel 25 there that we have? Is there something that comes up or something that you know that, I mean, we just went through it quick, so it's an overview of it. It's not an in-depth study per se, but a lot of things there, a lot of things. Just look at the godliness of that Abigail and what she did for her family. What a wonderful thing to see. Okay, well, we got just a couple minutes then, and let me just read a letter we just got printed off on the way to church this morning. From Baffin Island. We haven't heard from the Hitzes for a while. Fall has come with snow flurries and below freezing temperatures. Our short summer was a blessed, profitable, and enjoyable time to be outdoors without multiple layers of winter gear and to take opportunity to soak in the sun. In October, I completed teaching another addictions program at our local prison. It was in a different unit this time around, and again, there seemed to be positive responses from the time together. For now, the door continues to be wide open to this ministry and the plan to teach the class repeatedly in the future. Prayer for both the teacher and the students is much needed. So that's for the jail prison ministry there that he has. Our summer projects went well. We did not complete all that we had hoped, but we made a lot more progress on our new house with painting, most of the exterior, and the replacement of a deck that was no longer safe to use. We continue to work on interior projects as well as on the inside of our house. With these projects on the go, we are also still working to complete some renovations at the church building. We thank the Lord for our 4 boys who are such a big help when it comes to all the work. They're getting up there now to do some of the work themselves. We also thank those of you who have spent special love offerings and gifts for our family, have sent them. These have been timely and of immediate use. In the past couple months, we have had many first-time visitors to church. In our beginning years, anyone who came to church was typically a result of our own efforts to invite people. What a blessing it is to see people in our church inviting their friends, family, co-workers. Canadian Thanksgiving was the first Monday of October. We had a special Sunday service of feasting, fellowship, and giving of thanks. Again, we had several first-time visitors, and there was a great spirit among us. We thank the Lord for all his blessings. A big answer to prayer is that I've finally been officially appointed as chaplain with the local Royal Canadian Mounted Police, their Force 5 division. This has been a development 3 years in the making. We're looking for the Lord to wisdom and opportunities to support our local officers, staff, and their families. Please pray for us for this new door of ministry. There's a picture here of him receiving a commission here from the RCMP. And Christ for the Arctic, Paul J., Loretta, Paul John, Kenny, Micah, Josiah, Julia, Mary Beth, Elena, Eden, Carol, and Rosa. So that's the ones. So just remember the praises they have for all the things that were done, the appointment to as the chaplain there, and then they ask for prayer in wisdom and training their children to follow the Lord, and then finishing up church renovations and the unsaved friends that they're working with. So, anything else anyone knows from anyone? Okay, let's take a break then, and then we'll continue on in a few minutes.